Hey, what's going on, everybody? You are now listening and watching Let's Have a Twosome with
Steph.
and Blue. How was your week, babe? How was your day?
My day was rough. I had a rough day today.
Can't win them all, right?
Nah, but I'm here. I'm alive and well.
You handled it better than I expected you to. I told you.
Yeah. I'm trying to have a more positive outlook on life. Because sometimes things may not be going the way that you want them to. But as long as you are here and breathing, you have another chance to get it right, put yourself in a more positive mind state, and, figure it out.
Yeah, definitely. Again, I was very proud of you today.
Oh, thank
You kept it together. You didn't let it get to you at all. You enjoyed your day still.
I did.
And I'm very proud of you.
Thank you.
So, guys, if you haven't already, make sure you follow us on Twitter or Instagram at
Mirami Seth on Instagram and Sethspot on
when are we
Twitter.
changing that?
You have to change it to make it universal, I guess.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's Simply Blue on everything. Also on Instagram, you can follow us at LHA, the word twosome, or on Twitter at LHA, the number 2 some, because it's Instagram. It's weird. Shout out to all our listeners. Make sure you request songs, jump into the conversation, ask your questions, and we're gonna do things a little bit different. We're still trying to find the right what's the word I'm looking for? Format to have everybody join in and be in more of a topic of current. We're still gonna do the randomizer. Do you want to hit it this week, or you want me to do it? How you want to do it?
No, you can do it, babe.
All right, so we're about to hit the randomizer for our first topic, and then we're gonna jump into some music, and then after that, we'll come back with a topic that's currently trending amongst the social world with Fantasia, her husband, and what it means to submit. So, let's hit this randomizer. The handy dandy.
Religion and relationship.
That's the topic for tonight. This is going to be interesting. And I don't think it's going to be very long, so we might be able to fit another topic in maybe.
Yeah.
You want to start this off since I hit the button?
Okay. Religion and relationship. I mean, what direction should we go into, with this one?
Do you feel like in a relationship it has to be the same religion?
I think so. Simply because religion in general is such a complex topic. Mm-hmm. Especially if you're practicing pretty much all religions are pretty complex. Of course, they generally have a standard, story, reasoning for the religion. I hope I'm saying this right or interpreting this right, but I feel like once you find a religion that you're comfortable with, that you feel at peace with, that brings light into your life, that makes you happy, that you are devoted to, it doesn't make sense to me, this is for me, it doesn't make sense to date somebody that practices a different religion if you're not willing to embrace that religion. Because sometimes when you're practicing, let's say if I'm Christian and I happen to fall in love with a person who's Buddhist. Now, I'm not going to dive into either one of the religions, but I'm just saying, there's different practices, different prayers. I'm not sure. Like I said, I didn't want to dive in because I don't want to be incorrect or offend anybody. But both religions have different dynamics. They're very complex. And generally, people who in either religion, they're very devoted.
Right.
So I think down the line, especially when it becomes like where you get married, there are children involved, and you want to teach your children traditionally, because naturally you just want to pass on whatever you've learned in your throughout from your childhood up until your adulthood. You want to pass that on to your child or your children, and you want them to be, to bring them in the same dynamics that you have been brought up in. It becomes challenging, especially if your partner wants to do the same, because you can either start confusing the kids, or maybe they start picking sides, or it just becomes kind of complex. I feel like if you are dating somebody within the same religion, it's simpler. You both have the same faith, you both believe in the same things, it's unified. You guys can connect with that through that religion together. Whether it's through prayer, attending services, doing different practices that are part of the religion.
Right.
It's just simpler, And I've seen people that made it work with, doing separate religions, and I honestly don't know how. Maybe they found a medium, a happy medium to be able to do that.
Right.
But in my opinion, I think it's a lot easier just to have the same religion if you're with somebody, especially seriously.
I definitely get what you're saying. It is a lot easier, but not everything in relationships are easy. Like, we had that conversation today. Like, it's never gonna be like with no speed bumps or whatever the case may have you. I feel like as long as you respect each other's opinions and beliefs, then there shouldn't be much, conflict. Because at the end of the day, you both share a similar love, and you both either believe in a higher power or y'all both don't. But you love that person enough to respect their opinion. Just like we're not going to agree on everything, but I'm going to respect your decision or your opinion on something. I feel like religion is the same thing. You're right. There's going to be different practices in different moments. It's one of those things where you have to sit, and I hate to use the word compromise with religion, but it's just one of those things you just have to compromise until your kids are old enough to make their own decision, where you have to find a way to find the medium of doing both respectfully with your children. Like, just because I'm doing a prayer at a certain time doesn't mean you have to, but if I want to bring our child to do it with me, like, I don't think it's something that it should be, like, opposed. On the flip side, where maybe I don't celebrate Christmas and maybe you do. You know what I'm saying? Like, you have to find, I feel like in a relationship where you really care about somebody, like every other topic, you have to find the compromise.
But, I mean, I get what you're saying, but why make it that hard? Like, I mean, if you, like, I get what you're saying, that you maybe you should find a compromise when it comes to that, but I feel like it's in that it's if it's like that instance, like, it's okay, I happen to be with somebody that's a different religion, okay, we can compromise type of thing, but if it's not the case, if it doesn't have to be the case, like, you're searching for a partner like that is this, and then, I mean, some people just want that. Some people just want, this is the partner that I want, I mean, sometimes it may happen where you can't help who you fall in love with. This is the person that you want to be with, and they just happen to be another religion. Yeah, okay. Religion. Maybe you should, if you love the person that much, yeah, you should, compromise with the person. You should talk to the person, figure out a way to make it work. Right. But if that's not the case, like, let's say let's say it's a single person and they're Catholic, and they feel like, for them, that's their religion, that's their faith. They want to be with somebody that is Catholic. What about that?
I mean, I'm not saying it's wrong to want to be with somebody with your same faith, but at the same time, I don't think that, again, to each his own. You pick what you like. Like, you have your, when you want to go date somebody, you have your standards, right?
Right, you do.
And I agree with that. But like you said, sometimes you just don't have the control over that. For example, what happens when two people go into a relationship with the same religion and later on somebody decides to change their religion? Like that happens.
Yeah, it
You know what I'm
does.
saying? Like that's after marriage. Like for example, my parents were originally Catholic. My mom done switched to from Baptist to Pentecostal, and you know Pentecostal is super strict. My
Yeah.
dad still follows the beliefs of Catholic-ish, even though he doesn't go to church every day, every Sunday, whatever. But to please my mom, he'll go with my mom to church from time to time.
Right.
So sometimes it's just one of those things where you just can't, you know, dictate what happened. It's life, right? That's how life happens. But what happens with, I want to know, and I wonder if one of our listeners or whoever is in a relationship whereas you're religious, but then you're dating somebody that's atheist. Like, how does that work? Like, how do you think, like,
My mom and my dad were like that. My mom was like your mom. She was Catholic, while in Haiti, I think, and then she converted to Christianity.
sounds about right.
I'm trying to think if it happened in Haiti or here, but either way, she converted to Christianity, and my dad didn't go to church. It wasn't until like later on, like in his life,
Yeah, but
that's when he converted to Christianity himself, and you know, they both were of this, the same faith, but
yeah, but
initially how she dealt with that. I'm just explaining
Okay.
how that dynamic was, because I don't know if somebody's gonna jump in. That dynamic was, my dad was hard-headed. He didn't want to go to church, and my mom couldn't force him.
right.
Like she would, and you could tell it bothered her a lot. Like she really wanted her husband to come to church with her
Right.
and her children, and he really didn't want to. And he would find reasons, either like I think Sundays would be his days where he would be off, because my mom would be, so adamant about him going to church. He would go to work. So just to not deal with that. So I mean, that, I guess, when I think back on that, it makes me realize, okay, maybe being with somebody that you share this same faith with, it becomes a lot easier, because you can, and not to make it seem like, that's just like a hurdle to avoid or anything like that, but it's just, in my mind, it just makes sense. Like, if I'm of a certain faith and this is what I'm devoted to, naturally you would want somebody the same way, because
Right.
you guys can share, you guys can, like, if we're both Christians, we can go to Bible study together, we can read the Bible together, we can pray together, we can bounce, verses off each other, interpret them together, like things like that. Like, you can really, and it's like, it's a very intimate and very more like, I wouldn't say a spiritual connection,
Right.
that you have with a person. Whereas if you are, of different faiths, the dynamic is completely different. You're literally learning each other's religion, which is good too. But then what happens down the line? Like, do you guys go to each other's churches? Can you guys pray together? Does the person's religion, like if the husband's religion is different than the wife's religion, does the God he serve, match the God she serves? It's just, it's just weird, in my opinion.
Right.
Because when you, and I don't want to, that sounds bad when I say weird, but but you don't want to, like,
You don't know what
clash over religion,
Right.
Over faith, because the point of faith is kind of like an escape. Like, it's kind of like an escape from the real world. It's something that's supposed to uplift you.
Right.
You don't want to clash with your partner or try to compromise or figure it out if, just because you guys have separate faiths.
So now, again, I think I do have friends that are atheists. But how do you think that those kind of relationships would work, like in terms of somebody that's religious dating somebody that's atheist?
I don't know.
Like, if we have any listeners or anybody that's watching us on YouTube, make sure you subscribe to our channel, because we're still trying to get to 100. Like, how do you deal with that when your significant other is of a different religion, or doesn't have a religion at all? Because not everybody is the same. if you're in the chat right now, chime in if you can. If you have that kind of dynamic, we would love to understand it because, again, us we both basically follow Christian beliefs. Um, to me, like I like not having a domination, like being classified fully as whichever. Like I find a Christian.
Oh, like having a denomination.
Yeah, like I follow
follow.
Yeah, I follow Christianity, but it's just more so like I enjoy not having to add on an extra tag to it because, in my opinion, I feel like everybody's trying to do the same thing, right? They're trying to glorify some and basically praise the person that they feel like put this world together, right? Like, and that's in our religion, like learning, whatever the case may be. So when it comes to religion, I always had an issue where it's conflict because to me, at the end of the day, we're all trying to do the same thing. We're all trying to preach love. We're all trying to preach, for the most part, because not every religion is the same. We're all trying to, unify the people. I feel like it's a lot of, it's just like little bits and pieces that are different. But at the end of the day, we're all trying to love each other for the most part. So I never really had an issue with any other religion, whether you were Buddhist, whether you were Catholic, whether you were Baptist, Pentecostal. To me, I'm like, everybody's trying to do the same thing. Nobody really knows until the end.
Yeah.
Like you're going on faith, and I can't make you go on my faith, and I can't go on your faith. Faith is on your own, so I can't judge you for what you believe in. That's just the way I feel. So with religion, I know it's a lot tricky. Like I said, I didn't think this topic was going to go very much longer because we actually match in that category. So again, if you want to say something about it, make sure you join us in the chat. Leave a comment on YouTube. Hit us up on Instagram and on Twitter. I think we're pretty good with that topic. We still got a little bit more time left. Do you want to jump into another topic real quick before we go into music?
Yeah, we can. Hopefully it's not
You do the honors, Mrs.
a topic that will require us to go in. How do you know if someone likes you? Huh.
That's pretty simple.
I mean, you can kind of get into this one.
For me?
I'm saying in general, you can kind of get into this one.
I'll go first. To me, I usually try to send out fillers. From a guy standpoint, sometimes it's so hard because the girl has so many suitors, everybody's shooting their shot, so to speak, and it's just like a lot of times it turns girls off because there's a lot of BS, right? So now, as a guy, you have to find a different way to find a way to understand, like, all right, did this person feel me? Like, so then the way I figure out if somebody really truly likes me or even want to give me the time of day is on their response. Like, if I'm texting you and it's only me initiating the conversation every time, then you're not feeling me. Like, if I'm the one that's putting in the effort, then to me it's like, all right, she doesn't like me that way. And that's just the way I look at it. As a guy, it's kind of different because we have to take different approaches or whatever the case may be. But to me, it starts with that first initial, like, hey, can I get your phone number? She gives it to you. All right, maybe she's feeling me. All right, let's start texting. All right, I'm going to shoot her good morning texts first for the next couple of days. I'm going to miss this day to see if she, hit me up first. And then we go from there. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, so if a girl doesn't text me back, like, after 2-3 days, I'm like after 2-3 days, I'm texting first, and then, the conversation is dead, and the next day you don't hit me up first, I'm like, maybe she ain't thinking about me like that. That's how I look at it from a guy standpoint. I guess you could talk at it on a girl standpoint and bring different, angles to it to elaborate.
In my brief time of dating. I would know if a guy likes me by the effort, pretty much. If I was talking to a guy, like we exchanged numbers,
would you give your number to a guy you didn't like?
No.
Okay.
If I give the person my number, I'm feeling the person. So from then on, we can, we'll talk and stuff like that. I know if a guy likes me if he will initiate a date. Because we could text, we can what you call it, FaceTime, whatever, like talk on the phone,
Video chat.
Yeah, video chat all day, every day, whatever. I want to know that you respect me enough to take me out. In general, if I'm like feeling this guy, like he's a potential guy I would want to date, type of thing. I would expect him to, okay, I want to take you out. Not like we're gonna be Netflix and chilling. Not like we're not going to like hang out to see if he likes me before we go on a date. It's not gonna be like.
So he can't do a coffee shop.
No
situation. Why not?
Absolutely not.
So what's wrong with a coffee shop? Like No. The filler. You can't. What's wrong with the fillers?
There's nothing wrong with it, and if a woman wants that, go ahead. I'm not that woman though.
Why not?
Because I'm not going to no coffee shop for the first date. That's not my ideal. That's not my idea of a date.
But it wouldn't be a date. It's a filler. Like, I'm filling you out to see if you know.
And I don't need to be filled out either. It's either you want to take me out on a date or you don't. So I don't want to be filled out. The whole point of us having conversation over the phone through text and stuff, that's your fill out moment. That is your moment to fill me out. And if that's not enough for you to take me out on a date, you do not like me. You just looking. That is. And I feel like maybe that's not for you. Maybe you're not like that. But I feel like that is an opportunity to smash. Those filler dates, those dates where you're sitting down, in a park somewhere, and talking and stuff like that. And like I said, I don't knock women who want that, because every woman wants something different. Some women are more low maintenance than others. I myself,
low maintenance stuff.
Yeah, there are women that are more high maintenance. There are women that are more low maintenance, that they don't require a lot. Like, they're okay. They're okay with that. Like, it doesn't bother them. But I myself, I don't. If I'm going to, now it's a difference. If I'm just if in my dating time, if I'm looking to just we just gonna do whatever. Like, I'm not looking for that. It's different. That's completely different. I don't care where I'm going. But if I like you enough where I think, okay, this is the guy I may want to date, in the future, I want to take him more seriously, I'm expecting you to take me out on a date. I expect that.
So what kind of date you're expecting? Like,
I expect you to take me to like a 5-star restaurant. I expect you to spend money on me, because that's how I feel great about myself. I feel like, I deserve that much. And I'm not gonna sit down and waste my time, talking to somebody at a park just for them to fill me out when we were talking for a few weeks already, or for like a week or two. Like, I'm not doing that.
All right. So what if it's a dope date, right? Like, it's a picnic, it's very thought out, not much spending, but enough to like put thought into it and creating time to spend with you. That doesn't count? No. Why not?
It's a first date. The point of the first date is to impress me.
So if it's not impressive, if the impression is valued by the amount he spent, or the thought that he put behind it?
It's the thought that he put behind it. The thing if he wants, okay, let's say we're having a conversation. Okay, I want to take you out on a date. I planned it. I'm gonna plan it out for you. I want you to do this. Whatever the case is. Whatever the case is. It is. Whatever it is. We're gonna go out on a date. I'm not gonna expect to go to a picnic. I'm expecting to go to a restaurant or someplace nice to sit down, eat, talk, enjoy each other's company. But I will look at where you're taking me. Like, if you're going to take me someplace nice, I'm like, oh, he really values me. He really thinks that, I'm worth this date. That's really where it's coming from. Like, I want to see how much you value me. So I'm expecting to go to a nice date. That's what I'm going to expect. But like, I feel like, and it's kind of like it's kind of like you want to straddle that line, because you don't know what the person's what the person's extravagant interpretation of an extravagant date is. So you don't know what their idea of that is. So you kind of straddle that line because you're like you don't want to be like this, bitchy person that's like, I deserve everything in the world, and the person is giving you all they can.
Right.
But at the same time, if you put your worth out there, the guy is gonna do what he gotta do to make sure he takes you out on a date that is like worthy of how he looks at you. That's just what I think.
All right, so let's take this a little bit more personal, right? I don't remember this. Did I reach out to you first, or you reached out to me first?
For what?
When we first started dating. The very first time we started dating.
The very first time?
Yeah.
Like when? Like
16,
back in the day?
Back in the day. Being current is like obsolete. Like that's so.
I mean, I think when I was like 16, I think I reached out to you first.
Oh, you shot your shot first?
Yeah.
But why though? Like what? Like.
I don't know, because I mean, this was like back in like AIM days, AOL days, and
MySpace.
Yeah. So, I don't know. For some reason, we were friends on AIM. I don't know what happened, why that was the case. Mm-hmm. But I would see like your posts that you would post up because I think you could put posts on AIM, right?
You put
like
status.
Like away messages.
Yeah,
yes,
status.
Away messages.
Yeah.
So he would put these away messages, and I love like poetry and stuff like that, and they were like very poetic, and I was like, wow, this guy is very thoughtful. He can write.
I could write a little sunshine when I want to.
And I was like, wow, this is this is bomb. Like, I like this guy. So yeah. I reached out first. I was like, oh hey, whatever, and then we started talking, here and there and stuff like that until, later on.
So how did you, what do you remember what made you like me outside of the poetry after we started talking? Around that age?
I don't know. No? That's back in the day. I mean, I to be honest, I think I just was happy that you was interested in me. I was like, wow, like this guy really likes me, type of thing.
But you was always gorgeous. Like, I don't understand that.
I mean, but I didn't think that. Like, I mean, as I grew older, I kind of like accepted myself and fell in love with myself, but back then I didn't really have like self-esteem like that. I was kind of relying on other people to validate me.
Right.
So
all right, so let's fast forward to now. Like, what made you date me again?
I mean,
so that's kind of that kind of falls into the like situation.
We kind of have like this. We kind of value the same things. We have a lot in common. Yeah, I mean that's really a majority of it. We have a lot in common. We value the same things. You're the type of person that will not leave me hanging. Like you make sure that I'm always good.
Right.
And in turn, that makes me want to make sure you're good too. Like make sure that, there's a balance. Make sure that, whatever you give to me, I give back to you, and then some.
Right.
Because, you care that much. And it's hard to like, when you're dating somebody to kind of see that because sometimes, they're really,
just faking it.
You don't know what the intentions are until you're in it. And then you're just like, oh, wow. Like this person really doesn't care about me like that. They care about either what I can give to them or, whatever state they're in, how I am benefiting them in that moment. And it may not be in a good way. So to see that you constantly care about my well-being, my child's well-being is like, it's really amazing because it's one of those, like, things like that is hard to find. Like when you're dating, that's hard to find. It's somebody, for the most part, they really people just want to just smash and that's about it.
Right.
and move on to the next, or they'll date you for a little bit and then it's not working. So, I mean, I guess that's really why. And why do you like me?
I said this to you before, and I'll say it again. It's like I feel like during one of our, I don't know what to call it. One of our, I don't want to say encounters because it's always more
situations.
Yeah, one of our situations.
Situationships.
During one of our situationships, it was one of those things where it was just like, aha. I was no longer in like my boy state of mind of wanting to run the streets and stuff like that. And I was thinking more of like the lines of settling down. And I realized that, like you said, we have a lot of things in common. We have a lot of what's the word I'm looking for? Morals that align as well. And two, like from the moment we were like 16, 17, we always had this like awesome connection. It was never nothing like negative between us. I don't really.
Oh, Kiki's. I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
Kiki's. She said, "I feel like there may be guys who have the money to bring you to the nicest places, but could still just want to smash." Maybe. But yeah, maybe, because generally at the end of the day, that's the end goal. that's the end goal. You're really getting
for some guys.
Okay.
For some guys.
For the most part, at the end of the day, I mean, you do a lot of things. I mean, for the most part, to get the cookie, like initially, and then after that, if like the person has some kind of like. I mean, I'm not to say that you'll give it up right away, but I'm saying if the person has substance and, beyond that, then, it might work out. Or there's some guys that just want to like date you. They're like, okay, like I like this person, even though, she's beautiful and I wanna hit it, but let me get to know her first. Let me see what she about. Let me see where the mind is at.
But yeah, no, that's why I like. Shout out to Kiki. She's always tuned in. But that's why I liked you from the gate. Is like, yeah, we always had that connection. Like, so here's a story, guys. Did we share the story with these guys before?
What story are we sharing?
When we wasn't talking, and I knew something was wrong with you.
Oh, when we were beefing.
So at one point, me and her were not talking. We had this thing where, for the like, as much as we could, like, if one of us was dating somebody, we would not communicate because we knew that it would be a problem for that relationship. So whenever she jumped in a relationship, I stayed away. Whenever I got to a relationship, she stayed away. And that's how we moved for like the past, since we were 16, 17, when we last broke up, it was like 18, 19. That's how we moved. But it was a time when she was with her situation, I was in my situation, and we were beefing for whatever case maybe we wasn't talking to each other. And I had a dream because I knew she was pregnant because it was cool when she was pregnant a bit and then the falling out happened. I had a dream and it was just like she got into a car accident. Like I remember that dream vividly to this day. And the very next day, soon I woke up, I had to get ready for work. I got ready for work. I'm like, yo, that dream is kind of weird. Like, I haven't spoken to her in mad long. They came out of nowhere. All right, let me get dressed, whatever, right? So I went to work. Shout out to Half Baked.
Hey, Half Baked.
I went to work and I just text her because I'm not talking to her, so I'm not gonna text her. So I text her sister like, yo, I DM'd her sister. Like, I didn't have her sister number. I DM'd her. I'm like, yo, me and sister not cool right now, but is she okay? Like, I didn't tell her why. I just said, is she okay? I have this weird friend that she got she's like, yeah, she's fine to my knowledge. I'll check up again. I'm like, yeah, let me know. So I don't know what happened on that end. Her sister hit me back like, yeah, she's fine. I'm like, all right, cool. I left it alone. Later on, and I mentioned it to her when we started talking again, like, yo, like, did your sister ever reached out to you about da-da-da? And she's like, yeah. So apparently, she actually got into a car accident while she was pregnant that week. Like, a couple of days after I hit her up. Like, a couple of days before that I hit her sister up about that situation. And to me, that's, like, always blown my mind. And, like, that's how deep our connection has always been, where we can feel like when somebody's in trouble. Because she'll hit me up. She doesn't like hitting people up first. If we're not talking no more, she's not gonna hit you up.
That's how I'm like. He was sitting here talking about, he likes to see if people hit him up first, and I definitely was not hitting him up first.
That's when we're beefing though. Like
I'm just saying in general though, like even when we were talking, I wouldn't hit you up first.
Yes, you did. When we was back in AIM days.
I'm talking about now.
Oh, now.
Like when we first started dating, I wasn't hitting you up like that.
Trust me, I gave you a period because I know you, so I gave you a little extension. Because I know you, so I gave you a little extension, and then you passed the extension. But like again, like she doesn't like hit people. Even if something is wrong with me, she doesn't like hit people. She'll hit me up or something, or I'll see that she probably looked at one of my shit like on social media, like so she knows like. And I always knew that
being a creep.
I always knew that if anything happened, I could hit her up and she'll drop whatever. So to me, that's loyalty. I guess it is at the end of the day, and connection for us, right? That's what always brought us back together, and I'm glad it does because at the end of the day, it really makes me feel like you really are my soulmate because no matter what, we always hand up right here. So. We're going to jump into some music now, and then we're going to jump into the topic of the night from Twitter world, as people are talking about this Fantasia and her husband and the use of submission, like her submitting to him in their relationship. And we'll see how that goes. In the meantime, enjoy Adorn by Miguel. I think this was playing for you guys. All right? That was Fantasia, When I See You. We also played Anne Marie, what was it? Secret? Mm-hmm. Shout out to Queen Unique. She made a request for that song. Now, because this is why we played Fantasia, we're going to get into this conversation that Fantasia brought up of submission in relationships. Do you want to start this one off, or do you want me to talk about it? Well, the premise was that Fantasia spoke about her submission to her husband. And she got a lot of flack on Twitter and Instagram about it. So her husband took to social media and explained that he talked about submission in the words of the Bible, whereas he's the leader of the let me go ahead and turn this song off. Where he's the leader of the family because, not saying that she doesn't have a say in the family's doing or anything like that. It's just that it's the way, like, again, scripture wise, is that the guy leads the way, so he makes sure that you put yourself in the best position to lead your family into a better future. And that's what they mean by submission, as in terms to she trusts him. That's the key word, is trust. And it's not more so like, oh, I'm gonna do whatever you say. It's more so like, I trust your way of thinking. I trust which way you're trying to go. Do you want to talk about that?
Yeah, I think she probably got a lot of pushback on that because nowadays it's hard to just submit to a man. If you're with somebody, they feel like because they're getting the goodies that you should automatically submit. Like, it's kind of like a possession thing. And I kind of understand where she's coming from as far as submission, because if you're with somebody who's a leader, who will never lead you who you feel like will never lead you astray, even if you guys are battling tough times, you know that this person has a vision, that this person has ambition, this person is spiritual, this person will not lead you astray. It's not simply about his own gain, but also the gain of his family. You would want to submit to that. I would want to submit to that, hell, because especially now, like, previously dating, I feel like the submission was just like, if you submitted to somebody, it's because you getting nailed pretty good. So you getting that good, and you just like, dang, let me submit to this guy because where else am I gonna get this? Or like, you're not looking for. And I feel like a lot of women now, not to say that there are not women of substance who are raising the bar for men because the bar has been lowered very low these days.
I agree. As a man, I agree.
Yeah, it's been
Like,
there are women proposing to men in this day and age.
I remember a time when chivalry was a thing.
Yeah.
And like, because I'm a very chivalrous guy, a lot of time women, like when I was in a dating scene or whatever the case may be, the little time that I was, the chivalryness, like me being chivalry, like showing chivalry to women was like a thing. I remember one time I was doing laundry, my own laundry, and I'm folding my clothes, and this woman walked up to me like, "So you're doing your own laundry?" I'm like, "Yeah." She's like, "You don't got a woman to do it for you?" I'm like, "I can do my own laundry." It's like, "Well, if you ever need some help," and she slid me her number. I'm like, wow. Like, is it that low of a standard? Because to me, I'm the type of person, even if it's like the person I'm dating, or even if it's like some random person, like an old lady, whatever the case may be, I'll open the door for a woman. You know, I'll if I'm on a date or if I'm with my friends, I'll pull a chair out for a woman because it's just the right thing to do, in my opinion. Especially part of like being part of my fraternity. Like when I have my letters on, I want to put my best foot forward. So whoever it is, I'm going to treat you the best way possible because I don't want you to interpret it, especially as a black man. I don't want you to think of me of any other way than that person treat me right. So chivalry, like a lot of times we be like, "Yo, chivalry is dead." I'm like, nah, y'all just not treat y'all lowered y'all standards and let these other dudes treat y'all the way they wanted to treat y'all. Because
and I to be honest, I can attest to that because I was the quote unquote pick me type. I was the one that was doing everything, and I was okay with that. Like I was and thinking that I was gonna, if I was like this type of person, I was gonna get something in return, or I was gonna get a better treatment because I was doing the most. Only led me to feel shortchanged because I was doing more than I was receiving. And when you're doing that, you deplete yourself. So I feel like, I guess kind of like with the submission thing, you kind of like don't want to put, like, you don't want to throw something on there like a specific category and be like, okay, well, he's paying all the bills, I should be submitting type of thing. Or he's doing, I don't know, he's let's throw out, he's cooking every day, I should submit more type of thing. Like you want to look at the overall picture. Like if you guys, if something were to happen that were to impact your family, would this man be able to lead you guys to either a better life or maybe be able to sustain you guys where you guys are not, where people like your family's not like dying out or whatever the case.
Right.
I'm just saying something extreme, but you know that this person would not lead you to say whatever that situation may be in your mind where you think that somebody should, I feel like somebody who is not gonna leave you like
high and dry,
figuring out what you're gonna do, you know, because I feel like as a woman, like I always say this, as women, we are the sun. Whatever we are given, we bring life to.
Right.
That is what we do naturally. I mean, there are exceptions, but generally, naturally, that is what we do. Whatever we are given, we multiply.
Right.
If we're giving food, we give. If we're given groceries, we give food.
Right.
If we're given a home, if we're given a house, we make it a home. If we're given a seed, we make children. We give life.
Right.
Like we are literally the sun in human form.
I love that.
Yeah, we are. we are.
I love that about.
And it drives me crazy when women lower their standards because we give life in every aspect, emotionally, physically. We give life. Like right. So, if we find a man who honors that, who doesn't make you seem like you're inferior, that makes you feel like, okay, this woman is the person for me, and I know whatever I give her, she will multiply. She will give me more. I have to lead her in the right direction. There's not a woman that's not going to submit to that. There's not a woman that's not going to submit to that. So submission is more than what the actual like vocabulary is if you're looking at it from like a relationship standpoint, because I guess people are thinking about like being subservient, right. Whatever this man says, I gotta do, you know, if he tells me to jump, I'm asking how high type thing. And that's really, I don't think that's where she's coming from.
And to be honest with you, and you're right, because at the end of the day, like me as a man, I feel like I said, I love that interpretation, because at the end of the day, without woman, there would be no man. And I feel like without no man, there would be no woman. Like, it's equal. Like, it's equal. Like, you can't do one without the other. You can't have life one without the other. So at the end of the day, my target has always been to make sure that the person that I'm with, in this case is Seth, she's good. Because if she's good, I'm banking that she's going to make sure that I'm good. And that's how it's like you keep a balance. And in terms of like future life, we've spoken about this, like when we get ready to move in together and, you know, get married and stuff like that, how we keep each other balanced is like, we'll work together. It's a team effort. Yes, I may be head of the household. And to me, I don't take that title to head, because at the end of the day, this is my queen. Like, this is my queen. She's my equal. So if she's not good, then I'm not good. And that's how I take it. So I have to make sure she's good, make sure the kids are good, make sure the house is good. And if that's not the case, then I'm not good. Like, I still get on her about that. Like, yo, tell me what you need. Yo, what's going on with you? Like, because like she said, she came from a part where that wasn't a thing. So she takes things on her own. And I'm trying to bring her out of that. Because I've always been a pleaser. Like, that's one of my traits. It's like, I have to make sure that she's good. I have to make sure my kids, like, my son is good. Her daughter is good. It's just because at the end of the day, this is my family. So when he says submit and trust, it truly is about submitting. Like, it's really about trust. I want her to trust me enough to know that I'm a hitter. And even outside of our relationship, I recently had a conversation, and she knows this, with my son's mother. Like, trust me that I got this. Like, if my son needs anything, don't hesitate. I got it. No matter what. Because as a man, that's my job. As a father, that's my job. As a future husband, that's my job. Like, I have to make sure that my family is good. Because if my family's not good, I'm not good. They'll look crazy out here. I don't want to look crazy out here. You know what I'm saying? So with submission is levels to it. Like, I don't know how else to say it. It's levels to it.
Definitely levels. And I feel like women should hold men more accountable, because even like, I feel like it starts with us. Once we value ourselves more and we hold men accountable for, you know, making sure that whoever we choose is taking care of, making sure that every aspect of the household is taken care of, that leaves less stress on the woman.
And there's less stress on happy wife, happy life, right?
And exactly, like, and I feel like women do so much. Like, we do so much. We do a lot. You know, we give life, we take care of, we run a household. You know, I'm just saying, like, if that's the lifestyle that you're looking for, you're looking for a traditional lifestyle, that's generally what we would do. I mean, because there's some women that don't want that, and that's fine. But I'm speaking to the women that do. If you do, you have to hold the men more accountable, because those lowering the standards doesn't make them do anything but, like, give you less.
Right.
Like, if you set the bar this high, they're just gonna go this high, and you don't even see my hand no more. So you know, so I feel like you gotta set the bar really high, and don't be afraid to ask for what you want, because if you're looking for a man to lead, at the end of the day, if he's not leading, you leading, and then if you leading, like
and on top of that,
it's, like, gonna be bad, because you're not gonna want to respect him.
And on top of that, it's not like I'm not saying I'm out here balling, like I have the best job in the world. I don't. But at the end of the day, she pushes me to be great. My son pushes me to be great. Like, I take those as motivation. As a man, you take those as motivations to be like, yo, I can't fail these people. So I'm gonna do what I need to do to make sure they're good. And that's what they honestly, I think in my mind as a man, I think that's what women want. Like just to see just the initiative of trying. Like, yo, I'm gonna lead us, not trying, oh, I'm trying, but trying and doing as well, like putting things into work, like taking care of things. And I feel like that's the trust that you're looking for in your significant other. And that's what I feel like Fantasia and her husband are speaking about when they talk about submission. Is that trust? Like, yo, I'm gonna trust that you got this handled. Because at the end of the day, I submit to her. Because at the end of the day, I trust that you have these things handled. If it's something I can't handle, I'm like, yo, babe, we talk about, like I said, we have conversations. Yeah. Like, babe, I don't know how I'm gonna handle this. You have an idea? Yeah, this could happen this way. You want to take over? All right, I'm gonna take over. There you go. I trust you. That's my submission to her. It's an equal balance kind of thing. Yes, I'm still head of the household, but just like a leader, sometimes you know that something is not in your repertoire and somebody might be better at it than you. Then you're like, yo, you're better at this than me. Here you go. That's leadership. That's trust.
Delegating. That's
submission on both ends. And I feel like that's what those two have. So at first, when they first made that comment, a lot of people was like, but then when you break it down, like, this is what they really mean.
Yeah, because if you take it at face value, you're like, okay, so I'm just submitting to these people, to men, and they're not doing their part, or whatever the case is. No, you got to make sure that the person you're with is doing their part, is making sure that you're not left out to dry, that they're taking care of what needs to be taken care of. Because as women, we already do a lot. We do the most. So whether we want to, if we find a person we want to be with, we're going to do the most. That's just how we are. Why not have a guy that does the most for us? You want that too, because at the end of the day, you're going to deplete yourself of giving yourself to the person. You're going to run out, and you need your cup to be filled as well.
Right.
You can't just be relinquishing your whatever is in the contents of what's in your cup and not receiving as well. It's a give and take. And if you're not getting anything, and I don't know why this day and age, like, that we feel like that we have to give so much more without receiving, because that's natural. That's natural. Like, we're supposed to receive too. If we're giving out so much, we're gonna run out. And we're going to be exhausted. We're going to be stressed. We're going to be in depression. We're going to feel guilty. We're going to feel stupid. We're going to feel dumb, because we've been giving without receiving. And we should be able to receive, because we're worth that much. You're worth that much.
Take those words. And on that note, that's Let's Have a Twosome with
Steph
and Blue. Make sure you follow us on Instagram and Twitter at LHA, the number 2. Some on Twitter, and the word LHA, the word twosome, TWOSOME, on Instagram, and follow us on our personal @
Thank you guys so much for listening. We appreciate the support, the love. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. We need to get our subscriptions up. Yeah, our followers up.
Yeah, we gotta get our followers up.
So please support, share with friends and family. Have whoever you know that have like an iPhone, iPad, to tune in and listen to us.
Joy coming soon,
because we're here every Wednesday.
If you got a Joy, just jump on YouTube and watch us from there.
Yep.
And we'll be here, and we have some other exclusive content we're gonna start doing, like couple wise. I might start doing some pranks because she's easy to get. But we have some other things that we want to do as well, and we're gonna keep it going. Like I said, this is a family we're trying to build, so make sure you stay tuned. All right. And on that note, let's have a twosome.
See you then.